Welcome back, everybody, to the Schultes Strong channel. Today we have a fun-ish topic talking about our guts and the health it needs to be, what it's about, why you need it, why you should care. Alright? And now we got this guy in the back making loud noises.
Let's run inside.
So we're going to have to go inside. Woo! Alright. Welcome back, everybody. This is the Schultes Strong channel. Today we have a fun topic that I'll have Sam introduce to you, actually. Again, my name is Forrest, and this is
Sam Schultes.
As we've introduced many times. So today we're going to be talking about gut health, and Sam is going to explain why it's important, and because I know very little about this topic comparatively to this guy. There's 25 years of experience plus. He's just, I don't know, kind of a genius in my opinion. But anyways,
thank you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get too into that or make his head too big. But anyways, Sam, lead us in.
So gut health. What is gut health? Gut health refers to your gut, which is your stomach, small intestine, large intestine, and its flora or microflora. It just has to do with the microorganisms that live in your gut and how they interplay with each other to aid in the digestion of food, the creation of vitamins, and the absorption of minerals. And so wait, if you just got shocked there because I said gut flora makes vitamins, yes, that is the case. Also, your gut is in constant warfare with itself, or it can be based on the foods that you eat, the other pathogens that come in your body because of the food that you eat, that Forrest is going to tell a little story about here in a moment. But why is gut health important? Why should we concern ourselves with it if we're healthy? A lot of things start and end with the gut. And you might think, I'm feeling depressed. I need some Prozac. Well, chances are it's originating from your gut. For example, a lot of our neurotransmitters are made in the gut.
Wow.
And the production happens in the gut, and then it travels, those neurotransmitters travel through the vagus nerve up to the brain, and then from the brain they have a whole cascade of effects on the body. So if you're not eating the right foods, if you're not culturing the right bacteria and yeast in your gut for healthy gut flora, you can get out of balance. And when you're out of balance, you can have things like depression, brain fog, irritability, bloating, gas, constipation, dehydration, low sex drive, weird food cravings, you name it, the list goes on. And even on a larger scale, right? Autoimmune stuff can start with gut health. I mean, like, say, I have eczema, I have dermatitis. How is it related to my gut? It's directly related to your gut. These autoimmune things arise because our immune system itself becomes hyperactive and starts to attack the body. So we need the right organisms to then keep our immune system in check. And without getting too far on this topic, let me just tell you that there does exist an organization in Southern California where they went and harvested from the Congo primordial parasites to keep the autoimmune system in check. And there was actually a UCLA scientist that went around and stomped in the latrines in the Congo so that he would get various roundworms into his body, and then he cultured them and is selling them. So these things are very important. Couple good books on gut health written by Michael Pollan. Definitely look up. You'll start to understand more about this. There's something also called the Human Microbiome Project. I highly suggest looking it up. You could get your gut health tested, and it's the future of medicine is gut health. So with that being said, Forrest is going to share a little story with you about his personal issue with gut health. I'm going to share another story with you about some of how I've treated gut health through the years through my own practices holistically. And we'll kind of go from there. So go ahead and tell your story.
All right. So one could say it's kind of a shitty story. I'm not going to lie. But
definitely is a shitty story.
Very shitty story. Because by shitty story, I mean I could keep absolutely nothing in my body. As in, even just drinking water, I was just pooing my brains out. Okay, so this is in 5th grade. I basically...
you were 11, right?
Yeah, 11, 12 or something like that. But anyways, I started getting super ill, super tired, couldn't keep anything in. It was just all coming out. And this lasted for 5 days, and I started having, spiked fevers up to 105, basically. So my immune system was shutting, and he was, just fighting me exactly what he was talking about. And so my mom rushed me to the ER. They did all these tests on me where I got two different colonoscopies, took all these different antibiotics, and nothing would make it better, basically. So I basically did a water fast, or it was kind of like electrolytes and amino acids through a PICC line that I had in for the PICC line was in for 14 days, and I basically didn't consume any solid food for about 2 months. So there was basically a fast for that long. And they didn't find out for years later, actually, until I was in 8th grade, that I actually had salmonella poisoning. So they thought I had Crohn's disease. So I basically went on these crazy diets where I was eating,
gluten-free.
Yeah, gluten-free. I started, and we talked about in my previous videos where I really started getting my health and fitness. This is kind of what really, spiked that, in my life. And the doctors actually treated me really well. I was at UC Davis medical clinic or something like that. I think Sam visited me a couple times. I looked like skin and bones. I lost like 17 pounds.
He didn't have 17 pounds to lose. He was a little guy.
I was skinny.
Yeah.
So I didn't start, I was already really, really small and got smaller. So ended up gaining all the way back. Luckily, it took, probably about a year to get it all back. Because again, I was just hard to put on weight. I was so skinny at the time. I naturally have a pretty high metabolism. So what really got my, my gut back in check for this time was they were loading me up with a really well-balanced diet. So that was the key. Moderations and everything. I had 0 sugar for probably about a year at that point. My exercise increased a ton, just trying to, that was just me trying to put on weight back then. And so I'm not really sure how it affects your stomach. You'll have to, elaborate if it does or not. Tons of probiotics, prebiotics, high fiber diet. And I ended up consuming this stuff called modulin, which was probably just, if I could, it basically had the texture and was just absolutely, probably tasted like it. Not gonna say I know what that tastes like, but it was just this white goo. Basically, I would just drink down I had to drink 6 servings of it each day, which was like 8-ounce servings of this goo, and it was basically just a conglomerate of electrolytes, proteins, fats, carbohydrates, just like basically the most perfect, well-balanced diet I could have in a cup. And they give you flavors like vanilla and stuff like that. So basically it was vanilla flavored cum. So it just didn't get any better, honestly. But it worked. I felt like I got better after about 3 months of consuming this. And as you see, I am healthy now. I do not have Crohn's disease. And I just had the worst case of salmonella poisoning in UC Davis history. So, welcome to that. I guess set some records in the Sacramento area.
So let's define a couple of things that Forrest talked about in his story. Probiotic. Probiotic has to do with a orally consumed cluster of bacteria that promotes gut health. It's basically like a seed planting for healthy bacteria. And I say bacteria, sometimes it's bacteria plus yeast. Sometimes the origin of those bacteria may come from the soil. Sometimes they may come from fermented foods. Their origin could say be in breast milk. There are all these things that you want to take in to then replenish the healthy bacteria in your system. So what are times that you definitely need to take a probiotic? And how do you get probiotics naturally is a better question. So times when you need probiotics, you've had some type of bacterial infection, your doctor put you on an antibiotic. Those antibiotics then kill your healthy gut flora. You then need to reseed that gut flora with a probiotic. Okay, so now what is a prebiotic? Prebiotic is something that is the nutrition of the probiotic. An example is FOS. What is FOS? FOS is fructooligosaccharide. FOS is in breast milk, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a polymer of fructose that your gut flora loves and thrives off of. Okay, so what are some ways that we can naturally take in our probiotics?
Fermented foods like sauerkraut, drinking kombucha, Kimchi. I love kimchi. I don't know. That's about the amount of
Pickles.
Pickles. Anything fermented, really.
Pickled jalapenos.
Yeah, as long as it's not fried, it's fermented.
Okay, what about kefir?
Oh, I don't know much about it, to be honest. Can you elaborate?
Yeah, so kefir is basically liquid yogurt. It uses yogurt cultures, and it's in milk. It's usually a little bit thinner, and sometimes it'll have a broader spectrum of organisms in it. So one of the things to look for when you're shopping for, say, kefir is what your base strata is, right? Like, for example, if you don't handle dairy well, or you're going to go out and get a dairy kefir? No.
Probably not.
So there are other forms of kefir. There's goat kefir, sheep kefir, not pig kefir, sorry.
Or it hasn't been done yet.
Yeah, just hasn't been done yet.
Well, it tastes like bacon when you drink it.
Yeah, awesome. Exactly. That would be awesome. So there are vegan alternatives to these things, vegetarian alternatives. Although, if you're a ovo-lacto vegetarian, no harm in having milk-based kefir. If you're a vegan and you want to avoid that, there are a lot of other alternatives out there, but here, let me give you my warning on these vegan alternatives. They can really cause huge allergic reactions, and I'll tell you why. We've not ever had concentrated, fermented, say, nut milks and different things like that. So they could be high in concentrated things that we are not known, or the human organism's not known to exist with. And I'll tell you my own personal story. So
makes sense.
There is this coconut-based kefir, and I forget the name of it. It's like Cocoa Magic or whatever. And one of the worst allergic reactions I ever had in my life was from consuming that, and it was on a vegan phase that I was in. And I broke out in hives, thought I was going to die. And after going through this process, I was like, okay, stupid me. Where would a human ever encounter fermented coconut? Doesn't exist. Doesn't exist in nature.
Yeah.
Fermented milk, it exists in nature. Fermented breast milk exists in nature. Our bodies have it. So we have the mechanisms, the probiotics.
Wait, we have fermented breast milk? Sorry, What the heck is that?
Yeah.
Like, people purposely let it sit for a while, or like it just comes out that way?
No, so it actually can come out that way.
Oh. Have you tried it?
No. Would I try it? Yes, exactly. We'll do another video on that, by the way, breastfeeding and gut health.
Do we have to?
Yeah, we will. But for now, we're going to segue. Just be careful if you do choose the vegan alternatives. So what's a good vegan alternative to, say, yogurt, kimchi, sauerkraut, fermented vegetables? You can pickle your own vegetables, too. Look it up. Do it. Great way to do it. Another food source, the musical fruit, that helps with gut health. Beans. So oligosaccharides are great prebiotics. They really do enhance your gut flora, which is why you fart, because the little bacteria in there is going crazy. They're so happy. They're going, reproducing, and they're giving off CO2, which is why you fart, and CO2 and methane, actually, which is why you can light your farts on fire.
I've seen it done, by the way.
Yes.
Literally by this guy.
It works. It does work. Just be careful.
Maybe we'll make a video about that one later.
Don't try this at home, Blue Flame. Yeah.
Low burning source.
Oh, yeah. Commercial probiotics sometimes can also be cheeky. And when I say cheeky, I mean make sure whatever probiotic you decide to buy, it's over the counter. One, that it was manufactured in a GMP facility and it has an NSF rating. That's a standard in the supplement industry, which means it's been third-party lab tested. And then know the organism profile as it roughly relates to your health. So one of the things that I'm going to recommend is occasionally get your stool sampled to know your gut health. And if you want a good resource for this, and you go to the Human Microbiome Project, you can get it done through them, and forget what it costs. Look it up.
They literally send you a thing to just put your own in too, and you send it in the mail back to them now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
A little poo in a cup, and then just poo it away to them.
Yep. And that information goes into a larger study where they're looking at your gut health and they're looking at your genes. And one of the exciting areas of science in gut health right now is there an optimal gut health for your genotype? And can we, through modifying the gut flora, create super physiological circumstances, right? Say making an athlete faster or more muscular, or taking say an older woman who's osteoporotic and increasing bone density through gut health, right? Because think about that. That's calcium and phosphorus and magnesium absorption. If you can increase that through a certain gut health, you could take an osteoporotic person, and now increase their bone density. So kind of keep that in mind as you go through this. And then the kind of last thing we'll talk about is how to, when you are fucked in the gut, how do you bring balance back in a healthy and safe way that may be a better route than what your doctor might do for you, right? So a couple things that over the years I've treated clients with Crohn's, IBS, colitis, various food poisoning things, and there are methods of doing it. So one great tool that is in my toolbox is aloe vera. Aloe vera juice has a natural antibiotic, but that antibiotic selects for healthy gut flora specifically, and it attacks pathogens. The other thing is it has a specific type of hydrophilic carbohydrate. What does that mean? It's a carbohydrate that attracts water. So one of the problems that when our guts get out of balance, we absorb water from our colon, and that creates hopefully, if it's done in an ideal situation, this ideal fecal consistency, right? Like the dream log. And if that balance is out of whack, you can have constipation, you can have, on the dry side, you can have diarrhea on the wet side. So the happy medium is attained through having a balance of that flora in that area, and then the right hormones and so on and so forth. We can talk about that again in another video. But what aloe vera does too is it promotes the healing of those inner tissues due to scarification. For example, I have a gentleman I'm working with right now. He had some polyps removed from his colon. They turned out to be non-cancerous. However, his body hasn't healed correctly from the surgery. So after just 2 weeks of being on aloe vera, he went and got a wound care procedure. And they're like, oh, you're healing well. What are you doing? He told them aloe vera, and they're like, mind's blown. Why? Because your doctor doesn't know about these things. Another kind of go-to on the, like, oh, my stomach is upset. I'm feeling nauseous. What do I do? What do I take? Ginger. Ginger is a great treater of nausea. And again, it's something that helps to select for healthy gut flora. So, you know, it's easy, readily available. You can have it as a tea, you can have it as a pill, you can eat it raw, you can eat it pickled. It will help your gut immensely.
I like the taste of it in general too.
Yep. Okay, and then say you're a bodybuilder who suffers from colitis or diverticulitis, and you want to add muscle. So an essential amino acid for this is L-glutamine. Now, L-glutamine taken in the morning on an empty stomach goes towards feeding what's called the glutamic acid cycle. The glutamic acid cycle is in the gut, and it promotes the production of neurotransmitters, but it also promotes gut healing at the same time. So you want to, you know, you're a bodybuilder, you've got some gut/bowel issues, and you're trying to heal your gut. So you get up in the morning, you take some aloe vera juice, you put your L-glutamine in it, or you dry scoop the L-glutamine, wash it down with aloe vera juice, boom, ready to go. You're gonna have, you know, glutamine with a meal will promote muscle replenishment, the glutamine levels in muscle. So it goes towards muscle repair. Glutamine on an empty stomach goes to support the glutamic acid cycle and neurotransmitter production and overall gut health.
I think Tim Ferriss in his 4-hour body book was also saying that you can take, or that he was taking 60 to 80 grams of glutamine to repair stomach lining.
Absolutely. And that's a little on the high side. I wouldn't recommend doing that all the time.
Probably not. I think he said he did it for like max like 5 days.
Yeah, and you can absolutely do that. You can, like, a maintenance dose, and a dose that I currently do is between 5 to 10 grams.
Yeah.
And first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, boom, great. It does give you a mental boost as well. So it's something that not only promotes gut health, but it's good for alleviating morning brain fog. So it helps boot you up a little quicker.
I needed that this morning, I'll tell you that much. And I did not do that.
So if you're new to the channel, hit the like, hit the subscribe button, get the bell notifications, and heal your gut. Can you think of anything else we need to talk about?
No, I didn't think it would. I think we didn't do a very crappy job. I think it was awesome. I would say
it wasn't a shitty video.
It was not a shitty video. I think you will like it.
Oh, very, very important, by the way. When in doubt, request a stool sample.
When in doubt, shit it out.
When in doubt, shit it out. If you think you're having gut health issues, when you go to your doctor, say, hey, I'm having gut health issues. I want to have a stool sample analyzed, because they won't do it right away. I've found this out on a number of occasions. So just keep that in mind. We want to keep you healthy out there. And if you like this video, if you want us to kind of elaborate on anything, or, you know, you could tell us your own personal experiences, we'd love to hear them. We'd love to do future videos on your questions, your comments. Can you think of anything else?
No, I think we did awesome.
That's it.
Mostly you did awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. We love you. We'll see you soon. We're Schultes Strong all day long.